Hello beautiful people, I'm back! So as you can see, I'm not at my normal location. I'm actually at the beach, which is much needed after the semester that I've been through. We're gonna talk about it. Okay, so if you guys follow our page on Instagram, you know that this semester was one of the most challenging and trying semesters because we were taking 4 classes, and on top of that we started rotations. So the classes that we were taking are Pharmacology, Advanced Pharmacology, and then Family Nurse Practitioner 1, which is where we do all our clinical hours and we do iHumans and clinical discussions and a few papers. And then we also had acute and chronic, which is basically going through different disease processes. So that's like doing hypertension and those guidelines one day, diabetes, dementia, MSK, abdomen, just like different things. Like sometimes it'll be a little bit more specific, like migraines and dizziness, and other days it'll be the whole system, like abdomen and like the acute stuff that you need to look out for. So we had that class, and then we had a advanced pediatric class, which was very content heavy. So we had 3 super content heavy classes this semester. And as you can imagine, since semesters are a little shortened, like we had no spring break because of COVID, pharmacology, we would have about several hours of content every week that was released, and we would have weekly quizzes in multiple classes. This semester was just so much, so trying. And on top of that, we had to get 200 clinical hours in order to finish the semester. Okay, so before I start talking about clinicals, you guys should be following us on Instagram, jn.fnps. We post a lot more often on there, even though this semester we really didn't post that much at all just because of the chaos of the semester. But follow us on there because it's a lot more updated than I will be posting on here because it just takes too long to edit videos. So my first rotation as an FNP was in family med, and it was actually 3 hours away from where I live. So the state that I live in has AHEC housing, AHEC, and which is basically free housing for clinical students. So I was able to find one that was about an hour out because where I was going was definitely rural medicine. I basically moved 2 hours away from home for like 4 or 5 weeks, and I did the 1 hour commute to clinical 2 to 3 times a week just because I have classes on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I went to clinical, and I absolutely fell in love with family med. I think in regular primary care, you know, just seeing adults, it gets pretty boring doing diabetes, education, hypertension, and prescription refills. But when you have babies sprinkled in and doing their developmental checkups, being able to play with them, and it's just so cute. I love it. I have baby fever, I'm just saying, I do. I love seeing those little babies and just being able to talk to the parents and see how the babies are doing, and just kind of give parents encouragement that they're doing well, even though I don't speak from experience. But just seeing those little babies, oh my gosh, the ones with dimples make me melt. They're just so cute, and seriously, I just love having them sprinkled in throughout the day because I love like the age variation, and then also talking to teenagers and seeing that, and like being able to talk to them, and I still feel like I'm pretty young, so I can like connect with them. It's just, I loved the variation of ages, and I really think I want to start off in family med. I had an amazing preceptor who was a physician, and he loved educating, and you know, he really pricked my brain about a lot of things. I use the words I do not know a lot, but he was really just there to educate and teach me, and I've learned so much from him. So then my second rotation was neurology, and this was with a nurse practitioner preceptor, and I absolutely loved it as well. And honestly, I think neurology is definitely going to be a specialty that I move into in the future. I've already made several connections in the field, so I think that I have a solid plan for when I'm ready to move into that. But they kind of confirmed, like the PA and NP that worked at the neurology office, they said the best way, unless I know I want to be in neurology for the rest of my life, which I'm not 100% sure on that. They said it's best to start off in family med for a couple years or primary and just get that solid foundation just as a nurse practitioner before moving into a specialty. That way I'm able to move into other specialties throughout my career. Because if I just start off in a specialty, it's like almost impossible to move into a different field. So I think that, yeah, neurology is definitely something that I want to go into. It was super fascinating. I was so nervous just because it's the brain and like it's so extensive, and even though I'm done with the rotation now, like there's still so much like I could learn, but I learned so much. My notes from the clinical are like so many pages long. I don't even know, but it was such an amazing experience. The nurse practitioner that was my preceptor was super awesome. She loved migraines, and so we saw a lot of migraine patients, some myasthenia gravis, and also some super cool, like crazy cases that came from like naturopathic doctors that kind of prescribed patients some weird combinations that put them into super toxic levels and had them having some super bad symptoms, like neurological symptoms. So for next semester, my first clinical is going to be a primary care, and it's a free clinic. And so I'm very excited to be able to interact with that population because I haven't, and just to learn as much as I can and kind of solidify my primary care background, or my primary care knowledge. Okay, then my second rotation is really interesting, and I'm pretty nervous about it. It is a pediatric developmental delay clinic, and I have to actually move to another city in my state because it's about 3 hours away. And yeah, I'm pretty nervous, but it seems like it's gonna be really interesting. See, I feel like I'm being kind of pushed into neurology, so I'll take it. I think it'll be really interesting, and peds, like I said, I love peds. Not the class, but I love the children. So it'll be a great experience to learn from. Now let's get to pharmacology, because that was the bane of my existence this semester. Literally, the reason I couldn't sleep at night up to like at the final, the reason my classmates couldn't sleep at night when it came to the final, because we had a cumulative final exam with 100 questions that were super in-depth, and but I passed, and that is all that matters. And like I said, told you guys before, we have to get 80s in all of our classes or above. Well, 83%, 83, yeah, and above in every class. We're only allotted 1 C in our entire program, but thankfully I've not had to use that yet. Everything has been going well. Well, not like stress-wise. That is why I needed this break. I needed the ocean. To heal me, because the semester literally took me to my breaking point and past that. So this is way harder than, for me, it's way harder than the BSN ever was. And who knows, it might be like also like the mental part of, you know, COVID and all of that. But I was so over it, and I'm so glad that semester is done with and over, because I never want to look at pharmacology again, even though I know I need to know that for the rest of my career. But Thankfully we had BSN Pharmacology recently because like there's no way I would have passed that class without that. So overall, the semester was literally the worst. First semester was better, but I learned a lot and I really pushed myself a lot, and somehow I made it, and I'm really proud of that, and I'm gonna celebrate that because it was rough and I did good, so I'm proud of myself. And it's important to celebrate yourself for even the small victories. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I have some more videos coming up soon, but I just want to update you guys on how everything was going this semester. I hope you guys are all doing well. Please leave any questions below that you have about MSN programs, because I'd love to do a Q&A, and any other questions that you guys might have, I would love to answer them if I can. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for all your support. Bye.